Me making videos, Firis talking to rocks, same energy. We're making it out of air tona with this one, for sure. Anyway, I've dreamt of this moment for a long time. The moment when OG Firis becomes relevant again. No, not that, she isn't and wasn't, and the practical value of this setup is debatable. But the time has come when we can finally make use of burst panel generation in the first round on full auto without needing any skill 1s to align the timing. This is all thanks to new Cat's unusual group, for which she grants initiative status, which I've previously referred to as Vanguard. It's covered in more depth in previous videos, but it basically allows characters to take part in an extra phase preceding normal first turns, ending after the slowest unit with initiative moves. So Firis being slow today too is instrumental in this. The previous Vanguard stuff was mostly used in the Affinity Towers, where floor conditions artificially lowered the speed of units, not of the focus attribute. In the wild, you don't normally have such exaggerated speed differences, but here our Puni girl delivers, with her Tortugan 204 base speed on top of her 275 weight skill 2. It doesn't expand the initiative round enough for other units to get multiple turns, but it does conveniently pad it out so that other initiative characters using a skill 2 will be positioned around where fellow slow girl Rorona is waiting, with her generated burst panel. TLDR, we're Frankensteining the unique properties of 3 units into some convoluted setup, just so we can get a guaranteed burst on full auto. Anyway, now that the initiative demo no-hit/20 finished in the background, let's go see the actual setup in action. We'll start with Firis initiative into Double Cat, with XResna assisting on the crit rates. Didn't mention the debuffer aspect of new Izana's kit yet, but her skill 2 also increases crit damage received, as does her event accessory for targets that she crits on. Base Izana sweeps the trash with her skill 2, re-queuing behind Rorona's first turn. Without initiative, she'd rarely be fast enough to preempt the enemies like this. The Firis knockback here is pretty interesting, as it would allow a unit without initiative to preempt the first enemy, and can also correct single targeting. By adjusting the speeds of Firis and the others, we can control which units go again before Rorona, giving us another Resna crit rate buff and Izana debuff before the final hammer. Rorona makes the burst panel, then Izana brings down the hammer. The sequence of moves itself is not really out of the ordinary. The main thing is just the timing, with everything unfolding earlier than you'd normally see, and though maybe it's hard to tell with most of the enemies cleared. GG. The gear is more or less the usual stuff, with most of the speed tuning done by shifting Rorona and Firis earlier or later. Firis herself can sometimes contribute by carrying Memoria with party buffs, like the Masterpiece one or the Free Attacker or Burst Damage ones, so I have her in Buff A gear, though in this case, she's just holding an item gauge one. Honestly, it is a bit impractical devoting 3 party slots to pulling this off. Consider it more of an experimental thing. For my next trick, I was able to pull off another old goal of mine, fast double items, though it does make use of the default burst panel for the XResna burst at the end. You can do Rorona into Ellie burst for the item charge normally, without initiative, but you usually don't have enough actions around that to fit in the first item use and the rest of the item charge. Firis initiative lets us field 3 units with 275 weight, double stack items, and still finish the fight before the start of what would normally be the second round. We've got the New Year item charge Memoria on Izana, so her 2 turns give us 40%. We're starting with 80% with the initial charge Memoria, 30% from Resna, Rorona, and Ellie's turns, then the last 50% from Ellie's burst, for a full 200% gauge. We've only had 1 party member take their second turn, and we can already item for the second time. So again, we're a bit ahead of the usual schedule with this method. But if you can beat it slow, then you can beat it fast. Was that how it worked? Christmas Resna with the auto crit AoE burst is big damage as always. GG. For this one, we need the additional item charge Memoria on Izana, and I've given her some buff A gear to boost her party-wide plus 20% crit damage passive. We're committing even more character and Memoria slots to pull off the double items, so I'm not sure it was worth it other than for the science. One round of items in this case being plus 60% burst damage, plus 30% magic damage up, and minus 36% ice resistance, probably equivalent to 2 good skills worth of effects, so maybe. And the last is a standard Logy nuke. Overall, there are a lot of options for what you can deploy with the setup. This is just a basic sample. Anyway, just wanted to show some more fun stuff you can use the cat for besides the usual breaker and damage output things. We also got base Firis appearance. Auto into generated burst panels, early double items, not bad. Anyway, adopt your own cat now. Thanks for watching. Would be funny if this was one of the runs where I don't get the crits. But no one will ever know, cause who bothers to sit through this guy's performance? And they made dual pro tags. Picked the dude cause he make good weapon, but it doesn't actually matter and you're just playing administrative bingo into years of overtime like a government project. And the E&L experience missed me with that. I'd rather watch the poorly drawn Chinese cartoon. Well, here we are. Will he hit it? Not canonically, at least, just platonically. They were office mates. Good job, bro. You got him. Can we go home now? Hey, if you're still here, thanks for watching to the end.